I've been doing some experimenting with some of the Tim Holtz techniques, or just his products, with just some crazy on the fly things I'm doing. This is a flower from the Tattered Florals die, and I used some thinner cardstock in white paper. Whoops. Let's see that. There we go. And on this side, I inked the edges with Distress Ink Tea Dye, and then I inked the middle with Tattered Rose, blending them together with the ink blending tool. And I got a look I liked, the edges being darker, kind of a natural looking flower thing when you're in the wild and you see a beautiful rose, for instance, darker on the edges and blending into lighter as you get to the center. Anyway, this isn't a perfect look like that, but I liked how it happened. Then I used this Rock Candy Distress Crackle paint on top, and it's specifically meant as a distress process that gives tiny little cracks and stays flexible. Now when I did this, the flower was flat, and then when I let it dry overnight, it had curled up like a dead spider, really, really tight, like that. All the petals in though. That was interesting. So I just, because it is flexible, was able to flatten them a little bit, but that gives it a really nice look because those curls are kind of set into the edges. And then I did rub with the ink blending tool, the tea dye, over the top of it to enhance it a bit, and it really didn't pick up very many of the cracks. I think I do need to re-ink my pad. I don't have any reinkers. But I know if I used my sepia ink, it would really go deeply into those cracks. But I decided I really liked how this looks, just how it is. So I was going to try to duplicate it, and I have this one, another from the same die, the smaller flower, and it's similarly inked, which shows how different it looks under the rock candy. The rock candy really enhances. I was going to be rock candying this in a little bit, but I don't have my brush here, so I'll have to go get that before I do that. And just wanted to also show a couple other things I had done. This is the same shape as the rock candied flower, both of these. The first one here on the right, I had taken the white flower and I spritzed it with water with the misting tool, and then I used Distress Stain Broken China and rubbed it all over, and it kind of made the paper pill a little bit, but now that it's been dry for a couple days, it has a much nicer look. So right away it wasn't so great, but now it looks a lot better. And if I ink the edges, it'll really, really be nice. Now this, I used the same Broken China Distress Stain, and I put it on while the flower was dry, and it's much deeper of a color. I then spritzed it with the mister, the mini mister from Ranger, and I kind of held it up and moved it about a bit, and I really like what it did. I had, previous to doing any of the blue ink, done the edges with tea dye. But I'll do more inking on this one, and it'll be interesting to see these two together. It's obvious that the one on the left is darker. The lighting in my room isn't the best, but it's very obvious that that's darker and this is lighter. I also took the smaller shape from the Tattered Florals die, and I used the Broken China Distress ink pad with the ink blending tool to create this. And I really like that look as well. So I'm going to be rock candying this one. I'm going to be inking these more. And I'm not sure if I'll rock candy them. It depends. I'm really getting addicted to this Distress Crackle rock candy. And I took that other small flower and inked this with sepia archival ink from Ranger, and I crinkled it up all over the place and inked on the creases and just did a lot of extra inking and crinkling and rolling up and junk. Then I came in the end and used the Distress ink faded blue jeans. And I'm not sure why I put that. It's not in my box, so I can't show it. But what it is a blue color that is more dark blue. This actually, as you can see, is a brighter blue, the Broken China. So, that one I would like to rock candy as well. And I will get a brush and work on these. This is the Rock Candy Distress Crackle paint, and I don't have a brush in the lid because this is a larger jar. And I'm going to work on this flower. And I only have one hand to use with it right now, but there, I just kind of put it on in a semi-thick layer. I'll finish that and be back. So there's the flower now with the Distress Crackle paint on it, in rock candy. You can see it's kind of thick looking on there, and it's dripping off the edges. So I'm going to pick that up and put it on a craft sheet or wax paper or something. I actually do have one of the Ranger craft sheets. I just got it yesterday in the mail. I ordered it from Amazon, and it's a really nice thing. I just don't have a spot to put it in yet. I need to clear some space. I have behind here a lot of my Lego sets, and in an effort to keep those out of this video, I have very little space to work in. But I need to get some shelves and get those up on shelves. So I have some space to spread out and do some good stuff. So this will take quite a while to dry. It'll really be good and dry by tomorrow. It will be totally getting there, definitely today, where I'll be able to watch it and see it start. I imagine this one will also curl up. Maybe not quite as much because it doesn't have as many of the fingers, the sections, if you'll put it that way, like that flower has. Anyway, it's a really fun process to watch and see what happens. I can see that the look of it is really good already, even though the crackling hasn't begun. The rock candy just enhances the inking below it. Well, I have put rock candy on all three of these flowers, and those are the ones I had in the previous sections, all the same small shape. The one on the top right is Tea Dye and Tattered Rose Distress inks with the Rock Candy Distress Crackle paint. The one on the bottom is Broken China Distress ink pad, and that one is the Sepia Archival ink and the Distress ink pad Faded Blue Jeans with Rock Candy on top. All of them, actually. And when these are done, it'll be interesting to compare them, and to compare them to the larger flower I did with the Tea Dye and Tattered Rose earlier. It's all crackled and done. That will be a separate video, so be on the lookout for part 2.